Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are live for another edition of NASCAR 06 Total Team Control Cup Series racing in our Do It for Dale Series event again tonight. Trying to get Dale Earnhardt Jr. his first career Cup Series title. 4 races remain in the chase as we head to the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the running of the Bass Pro Shops NBNA 500. This is a 1.5 mile racetrack. 325 laps will be the scheduled distance tonight. And can Dale Jr. cut that points deficit down on rookie Carl Edwards, who is having a dream rookie season with 6 wins so far, more than any other rookie in NASCAR history, and obviously leading the points with just 4 races to go after winning the regular season championship in the beginning of the year. Carl Edwards is having a stout season, but he's got 2 veterans behind him closing in. 1 4-time champion of Jeff Gordon closing in from behind. Of course, Gordon tied with Dale Jr. for second in points into this race, but Jr. has the tiebreaker with the most wins in the chase. 3 for him, Jeff Gordon with none still. As far as the chase races are concerned, Carl Edwards hasn't even won a chase race yet, but he has been the most consistent in the chase. On top of having that #1 seed has given him the points lead. He has been the best on the 1.5 mile racetracks this year. Edwards also won the first Atlanta race earlier this season. We'll see who will win the second one here today. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into tonight's full race live stream, live realistic commentary. Originally I was supposed to do the Truck Series race today. I actually got off of work early today, so I'd rather do this race today rather than the Atlanta Cup race tomorrow due to other streaming events going on around the NASCAR YouTube community tomorrow. So figured it would be more beneficial to run this race tonight. Truck Series tomorrow means I got off of work early today. I put it in the community tab not that long ago, about a half hour ago or so. I have the streaming schedule for the rest of the week up, so you won't have to worry about any other changes, but that's part of why I didn't post anything yesterday for the community tab as far as the weekly streaming schedule, because I was kind of wondering if tonight was going to be up in the air as far as which Atlanta race I was going to do for which series. So we'll be Cup Series racing today, and 4 races to go. Let's see if Dale Jr. can close that points gap down. Time to qualify at Atlanta. Ice Demon King 92 Hammer, Wade Selinsky, Outsider, Mark DeMars, Bentley Potts, Asaya Z, Austin Casoli, thanks for tuning into the stream. The original Budweiser 8-car, paint scheme at least, is what Dale Jr. is going to have on the car today. Changed the setup quite a bit from where he had it in the first Atlanta race earlier this season. Dale Jr.'s just got 1 win on 1.5 miles this year, but for Carl Edwards, 4 of his 6 wins have come on 1.5 mile tracks this season. We'll see if he can get it done here today. Jr.'s car still might be a little edgier in qualifying, hoping that he can get the pole, and then he plans on tightening it up just a hair before the start of the race. It is definitely loose. Into turns 1 and 2. Rear tires moving around quite a bit. Jr. struggling for grip off the exit of the corner. High speed at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This time period in NASCAR, this is the fastest of the 1.5 mile tracks on the circuit. You want to hit that apron. We all know that that can be dangerous. Jr. slides up the racetrack into that middle groove in turns 3 and 4. Not going to be a pull time on lap 1. It'll be 5th fastest of a 29.531. We'll see if he can pick up on lap 2. A little better through turns 1 and 2 this time. At least on entry through the center and off the exit. But Jr.'s definitely going to have to tighten this car up. It is way too free in qualifying. He's holding on for dear life and trying to put together the fastest lap possible. Trying to get as close to that white line as possible. He's already locked in to 5th place at the very worst. That was a lot better on lap 2 versus lap 1 at the line. 29.499. He picked up about 1/10 of a second, but it was only good enough to pick up 1 spot. Dale Jr. will be starting in the 4th place position tonight, and Jimmy Johnson will be on the pole for the start of today's race. Looks like Michael Waltrip qualified 6th, so another DEI car starting inside the top 10. I'm definitely going to add a bit more downforce. I'm going to add a bunch more downforce just to make sure this car is going to be safe. Half around the wedge. I'm hoping it's not too tight, but it was very free. I did not practice before the start of this race. So, it was definitely a different setup compared to what I had originally. Alrighty. Better starting inside rather than outside. Well, unfortunately, we'll be on the outside. We don't get our pick. Could you imagine if you got to, like, pick between, like, 4th or 5th? It's like, oh, you were 5th on lap 1, 4th on lap 2. Which one do you want? I'll take 5th because I want the inside line. I did see that Jeremy Clements news, like literally a couple minutes before I started the stream. I didn't believe it at first. I had to go on to Bob Podker's Twitter account just to verify that it was his actual Twitter account. And it looks like he's keeping the win, but it's not going to allow him to make the playoffs, which stinks. But at the same time, I'm trying to figure out why he didn't get disqualified from the win, because I didn't think encumbered wins were a thing anymore in NASCAR. Maybe it's just the Cup Series it's like that. But I didn't think that was the case. Green flag in the air at Atlanta. Dale Jr. just spun his tires off the start. Still on cold tires. And struggling right now, trying to find himself in line. Dale Jr. is really, really struggling with the race car. 3 wide on the outside on the opening lap as Jr. is dropping like a rock. And we've got a caution, lap 1, off the exit of turn 4. Jr. can catch his breath as they have wrecked behind him. That did not take long at all. One car gets turned into the outside wall, middle of the pack, roof flaps are up. That's Kenny Schrader. Kyle Petty took a good look back and in. Oh, they were 4 wide, that's why they wrecked. They were 4x4 at the back of the pack off the exit of turn 4. Schrader got turned. Kyle Petty ended up in the wall, squeezing Martin Truex Jr. up there. So we've got a caution on lap 1 at Atlanta, and it looks like it's going to be one of these kinds of Cup races today. Oh boy. Yeah, whenever there's a caution super early like that, you know there's going to be a lot of cautions in the race. Shane Beal qualified top 10. Yeah, that's impressive. I don't know if he's going to have the speed to hold on. Both Michael Waltrip and Dale Jr. fell way back off the start. Dale Jr. lost 8 spots on that outside lane. And he does not take off well in this restart either as the green flag's back in the air. He's got the points leader, Carl Edwards, right behind him. Junior just needs to get up to speed so he can settle in, but look at how far ahead the top 11 have pulled away from Dale Jr. on the restart. Edwards is looking to the outside. Is he going to be able to clear Earnhardt into turns 3 and 4? He tried to, made contact. That was not Dale Jr.'s fault. Carl Edwards squeezed Dale Jr. even though Edwards was not clear. Jr. hits him back on the front stretch. They say, hey, give me a little more room. Not treating the rookie with any respect here. Remember, those two made contact on the final lap at Martinsville. It costed Edwards a 3rd place finish. He ended up finishing in 5th instead. And now Tony Stewart's putting a lot of pressure on Dale Jr. Stewart looks to the inside of Earnhardt. Jimmy Johnson has led the first couple laps of this race. Stewart has cleared Dale Jr. now. Jr. dropping back to 14th. He did qualify top 10 because I think he was... I think I remember seeing that on the board. Dale Jr. flirted with that white line. And in the process of not wanting to hit that white line and risk spinning out, he got out of the gas and hopped back in line behind Stewart. You saw how up the track Earnhardt went, but he lifted to keep it off the 20, and now Stewart throws a bad block on Dale Jr., and he has flipped Earnhardt. Earnhardt's up on his lid. No caution, we stay green. Tony Stewart threw a terrible block on Dale Jr., and Jr.'s going to have to pit because he's got severe damage to the race car. A terrible crash for the 2nd place driver in the point standings. And as he gets down the racetrack after Tony Stewart has just wrecked him, Dale Jr. can't have the debris caution, otherwise he wouldn't be able to pit anyway. A terrible wreck for Earnhardt as he has to make an unscheduled stop. No caution after Tony Stewart tried to block him into turns 3, well 1 and 2 really. And it just turned Earnhardt upside down. And now the Jackman has fallen over, trying to get around to the right side of the car. What a terrible start for Earnhardt today. Nothing of his own doing. Pit crew blunders now on pit road. Tony Stewart has just wrecked one of the championship contenders. And the defending race winner at Martinsville just last night. That is unbelievable. Can't script this, folks. And Jr. is going to be one lap down. Tony Stewart's well off that lead pack as well. Of course, Stewart's in the chase also, and he's in 42nd, but at least he's still on the lead lap. There's no way Dale Jr. is going to have any speed in his car. I don't know how Dale Jr. didn't even DNF after that. Wild ride. I mean, that was the same move Edwards pulled a couple laps prior, but nobody ended up losing complete control. But, I mean, that just completely chopped the nose off of the 8 car of Dale Jr. He already had an edgy car through qualifying, trying to snug it up. He hasn't been able to really run any clean laps with this car to see what the handling is like. But whatever speed was in it, if there was any at all, there can't be any speed in the car now. This thing is, I mean, it's done for. Sam Monning, thanks for tuning in. Noah Hall, thanks for tuning in. Patrick Shadley, appreciate you guys watching tonight. What a crazy start to this one. It all started with a lap 1 accident in the middle to the back of the pack as they were 4x4, causing about a 3 or 4 car wreck. Truex, Kyle Petty, Joe Nemechek was involved. Kenny Schrader got the worst of the damage in that wreck off the exit of turn 4, and then a couple laps after the restart, while battling for position, Tony Stewart, Dale Jr. made contact. Jr. got blocked going into turn 1, which caused the 8 car to lose control up the track into Stewart. He went again after the contact Stewart initiated, and Dale Jr. ended up and over. Severe damage, had to pit before the car even DNF'd or lost debris of any kind, because if the debris would have came out, he wouldn't have been able to pit anyway for fuel and tires. He has pitted for fuel and tires. But realistically, he's only got a couple lap fresher tires on the rest of the field, maybe 4 or 5 laps if you exclude the caution laps from the start of the race. This late in the chase, when you're second in points, specifically 75 points out of first, a DNF, it is over. I mean, this championship is about over for Dale Jr. if he doesn't get back into this. The good news is he's got almost the full 500-mile race to get back into this one. But Tony Stewart may have just costed Earnhardt a chance at his first title. I mean, there was nothing I could have done there. That was... that was not my fault. I was just in line on the inside. Stewart was on the outside. He came down the middle of the corner thinking he was clear. He was not. That was the second car to do that in 10 laps. Only that time it wrecked us. It's like Stewart's slowly catching the back of the pack. The good news is, gotta make sure not to wreck on our own now, especially with all the damage on the car. It's not going to take a big hit for Junior for the rest of these 500 miles to DNF. You got to make sure he doesn't even make any contact with anybody. I mean, he has to run a perfect race, not only to get back on the lead lap, to get back into winning contention, but just a clean race to keep from DNFing the rest of the way. The good news is Dale Jr. is the only car 1 lap down, so if we did get our second yellow early in this race, and there were a few cars that were caught up in that first accident that could have severe debris on their race cars, that would get Jr. the free pass and at least get him back on the lead lap. I'm not going to be doing any field passes today, I'll tell you that much, because last time we were in this situation with this much damage on the car because of a wreck, it was late at Charlotte, and it ended up pitting me under green flag conditions when I didn't want to at the end of the race. I only lost a few spots out of it, but I still lost some spots. So I don't want that to happen again. 29/8 is about as much as Dale Jr. can really pull out of this race car. That's what happens when these chase drivers are going all take, no give. There's 2 chase drivers who made some bad moves in the start of this race. One of them was the points leader, Carl Edwards. He's lucky he wasn't the one that was in that situation right there. Well, this has just really opened the door up for Carl Edwards, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, who's still in the top 5 in points, Kurt Busch. All those guys within 107 points, that's one less driver they're going to have to worry about if Junior can't get back into this race. This is, I mean, if Dale Jr. finds a way to get back into this race, salvage at least a top 10 finish to keep his championship hopes alive, this is going to be the championship drive of the season up to this point. Kind of similar to what he was able to do in a Busch Series race at Charlotte. He's going to have to do that same thing here today at Atlanta in the Cup Series. Or even what I did at Vegas in the trucks too. I mean, it's going to have to be a similar performance to that. Jeff Gordon is just taking the lead from his teammate Jimmy Johnson. Johnson getting 5 bonus points. If Gordon leads this time by, he'll get 5 bonus points as well. I will say the car's edgier again, kind of like it was in qualifying with the damage on the race car. So Junior might have to make some adjustment changes going forward because of all the damage from Stewart. People Cheeks, thanks for tuning in. That's just terrible. Starting to pull 29 sevens out. This is true. Carl Edwards could have an issue too. And that would keep us in it, but that is asking for a lot. We have had the points leader have some issues a couple times already in the chase. Remember, Mike Bliss was leading in the points for the first time this year going into Kansas, blew an engine. And then he also finished outside, actually 30th, I believe, is where he finished in yesterday's race at Martinsville. But regardless of the fact he lost his lead in general. And then Jeff Gordon in the very next race at Charlotte blew an engine while leading in points. Dale Jr. was second in points going in, finished 37th. So luckily Jeff Gordon had an engine failure that race. Dale Jr. finished 37th in, so he kind of had a free bad finish. I mean, you go back to that last lap at Talladega where Jr. fell from what probably would have been a 3rd or 4th place finish back to 28th on the final lap, getting caught up in the big one. If that didn't happen, how many more points he could have? He'd probably have the points lead by a slim margin over Edwards into today's race where something like this happened. He wouldn't be completely out of it. But 75 points down, already trying to play catch-up. It's going to be tough, and I don't think Dale Jr.'s got the speed. It kind of looks like he's somewhat maintaining speed with the leaders. He definitely cannot go a second lap down, whatever happens. He has to stay 1 lap down. He goes 2 laps down, he's never going to get back on the lead lap. We don't know how long this next green flag run is going to go. We had a caution on lap 1. I'm expecting a lot of cautions today, the way things started. That wild bang, even off that last restart as well. I'm scared when the tires get older how much worse this car is going to handle, because it's already mad loose, and we've only had about maybe 15 laps on these tires, a little more than that. It's more loose in. Not that bad in the center of the corner. The exit, it gets a little light too, but it seems like loose in is the big problem. Loose in, loose off, middle it's fine. It's almost like the banking kind of catches the car in the middle of the corner. Junior's got a long drive ahead of him today. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time today while we're waiting, running by ourselves. Might as well get this out of the way early. Definitely not going to be doing any field passes tonight. Junior's going to have to find a way to go off strategy if he's going to want to get back in this race. He's going to have to really hope that cautions play out his way going forward. Trying to get the right setup in the car going forward on adjustment changes. There's only so many things you can do on pit road during live pit stops throughout the course of the race to try and help handling in your race car. If you're wondering how I flipped, Tony Stewart threw a bad block going into turn 1 on a restart. A couple laps after the restart following the lap 1 accident at the back of the field. They were both battling for, I believe, what was it, like the 11th or 12th place position. And they were side by side all the way down the front stretch, so it's not like Tony Stewart didn't know he was there. I think he just tried to block him, thinking maybe he'd be clear. I mean, there was no chance Junior had to check up to keep from running into Stewart's left rear corner panel. And again, all it takes is one caution to get Junior back in this. There it is. Caution's out right as I stated. Lap 31, that's going to get Dale Jr. back on the lead lap with the free pass. So now we'll see what's... Oh, man, terrible crash. Another flip. Ricky Rudd. That was like Michael McDowell at Texas in 2008. My goodness, that was a terrible wreck. Slid right into the wall first. Up and over goes the 21 of Rudd. We have had 2 flips already in 31 laps at Atlanta. This is going to be a scary race. But caution's out. We'll see if the field's going to pit here. Dale Jr.'s going to pit regardless. Might as well. It looks like the field's staying out. Oh, nope, they're pitting. That's okay. I'm all right with pitting this early. I don't want to stay out. We're just going to get ran over by the pack. We're not fast enough to just stay out, especially on older tires. With this damage, we are not fast. Chance to top off on fuel, take 4 fresh tires, trying to make an adjustment change here. Going to put a half a round of wedge into the race car to try and tighten it up just a bit. Your Dale Jr. actually going to put a full round of wedge into the car. Full round of wedge going into the 8 car of Dale Jr. Hard crash for Ricky Rudd. Yeah, prayers for Ricky Rudd. That was, we were just talking about cautions. We got one there. I didn't know if we were going to go 2 laps down or not. It was looking like the pack was probably going to catch us in another 10 to 15 laps, so it was a good thing for that caution to come out when it did. I'll tell you what, this race has gotten interesting fast. Kenseth at the back of the pack having a slow stop on the 17. He's within 1 race worth of the points lead coming in as well. Go back to the far chase cam for the restart. Green flag back in the air. Jimmy Johnson won the race off pit road, restarts in lead. 1 car goes wide on the restart. Now, Junior hasn't taken off well on the restart so far today. And with all the damage, I don't think he will be either. He's going to be a sitting duck the rest of his race on restarts after flipping earlier. Ricky Rudd flipped. If he's still in the race, he'll probably have some damage that may cause a debris caution. Well, if I raise the air pressure, that's actually going to loosen the car up a little bit. I will... if I have to loosen it up at all. Full round of wedge went into the car. Was going to be the first adjustment there on that stop. We'll see if Dale Jr. has anything for at least the back marker cars. Obviously, I don't think he's got anything for the leaders, but cars at the back of the field, he might. There could be positions up for grabs there. Every point matters. It's multiple points per position. It's not like today where it's 1 point per position. At least 3 per position. Until you get in the top 10, then it's 4. Top 5, it's 5. And then the difference between first and second is 10 points. I think they're 3 wide middle of the pack. Nearly 4 wide off the exit of turn 2. Just hoping the field doesn't wreck in front of Earnhardt. He cannot afford to get even in a minor accident at this point. Can't touch that apron all 500 miles. So far, so good through 40 laps. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning in. When did Jeff Burton drive the number 9 Hardee's car? I'm not sure. You talking about, like, was that a Cup Series car or a Busch? It had to have been like a Busch or Nationwide car. So I know he drove the 9 in the Nationwide Series. I don't know if he drove one in the Cup. I don't know who Jeff Burton would have drove for before Roush. I think he was with the Wood Brothers, wasn't he? Maybe he wasn't. Lake Speed, not Jeff Burton. Okay, that would make more sense, yeah. Because Lake Speed was in the 9. It's probably after his Spam sponsorship. Cortez Cruz, thanks for tuning in. Billy Kramer. welcome into the stream also. Yeah, I did not feel comfortable staying out in front of the pack there. I'd rather try to feel this car out in traffic first and try to get comfortable with it with all the damage, because Junior not completely comfortable. He's slowly catching the back of the field right now. Just ran a 29.5, so I do think put that round of wedge into the race car. Oh, we got trouble. Car round off turn 2, coming back down the racetrack. Dale Jr.'s got it missed. Our third caution already. John Andretti was up out of the groove, and he ended up losing it. Just got up into the marbles, way too wide. Matt Kenseth got collected, another chaser involved in a wreck. Jeez Louise, man, this is... I thought Dover was going to be unbeatable as far as cautions, but I don't know. We might break that record tonight. 23 cautions at Dover, 4 of them were my fault, but I mean, today none of them have been my fault. We have had 3 accidents. Junior's going to pit. He's at the rear of the field. He's going to top off on fuel. He'll take 4 tires. This could help him a little bit. Ran about 7 or 8 laps before that caution. So Junior will have a little bit more fuel in his race car. Chance for him to go just a tad off strategy, but not by much. Primarily on the same strategy as the rest of the leaders still. I still don't think it's going to make him take off well on the restarts. Burn Teresa's money. I think Tony Stewart already did that tonight. Looks like John Andretti also hit pit road because he's restarting behind Dale Jr. Green flag back in the air. Johnson will lead to the restart once again. Dangers of being to the middle, to the back of the pack. Dale Jr., you saw that spinning Andretti not far in front of him. Andretti just got in the wall first lap after the restart. Trying to get to the outside of Dale Jr. There was no room there, and he just ran right into the wall. Corey Freet, thanks for tuning into the stream. Dale Jr. pitted for the 2nd time. Well, really the 3rd time already today. Had to make that unscheduled stop after major contact with Tony Stewart, tearing up his race car in a flip in which a caution didn't come out for it. If that caution would have came out, that would have been 4 yellows so far today. Credit to the DEI team for building a durable race car. He has flipped in 4 chase races already, and somehow hasn't DNF'd. DNF'd 4 times in the regular season, but none in the chase. Just keeping him in the championship hunt. Get tied for 2nd with the tiebreaker coming into today's race. Takes him really 3 laps or so to really catch up to anybody after a restart. He did hold on in front of Andretti, didn't lose that one spot he did have. Junior looking to the inside of the 144. He just doesn't have any straightaway speed anymore. Just ran a 29.4 that last lap. Grips up on the inside to get by the fantasy driver through turns 1 and 2. And that is a pass for 41st. 2x2 racing going on in the middle of the pack again. We know not to use that way outside near the wall like Andretti did when he spun out. Track is fast, it is edgy. 50 laps in already, even with the 3 early yellows. Eyes peeled. Stork Cinematics, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that comment as well. Yeah, the Hendrick car's dominating at the front. The only 2 drivers in the lead laps today of Johnson and Gordon, both in the chase. Big bonus points for both of them in the top 5 in the standings. Junior with a big run off turn 2, looking to the inside of the 145, into 3 and 4, big block. Junior lifted that time. He cannot take that risk again. Even though it wasn't his fault, he was able to back the corner up, though, with lifting a little earlier in. That allowed him to get underneath the 145 off the exit, and now he's clearly under him as Kyle Petty was all clear in the middle of the front stretch. Junior slides up, clears both the 45 and the 145 for 39. I think I'm just going to have to be aware that they're going to be throwing major blocks going into the corner, because that's happened 3 times now, and at least he was clear that time, but first 2, not so much. They are very aggressive with the blocks at Atlanta compared to a lot of other tracks. I mean, they're aggressive at other tracks too, but it's almost kind of ridiculous here. He kind of really puts you in a tight box. You have to give them room. Ninja Warrior, thanks for tuning into the stream. Yeah, this is the, I guess, old Atlanta now. Old Atlanta, considering this is the mid-2000s. A couple cars hit that white line and bounced up the racetrack just a little bit. Kenseth's on the move, being involved in that last accident. John Andretti having problems as Dale Jr., another chaser, has had. Each Kenseth and Earnhardt have at least one win in the chase. Kenny Schrader involved in the last. They're 3 wide, by the way, off the exit of turn 4 up ahead. They made it. No major stack up. Davey Chumler, thanks for tuning in. Wonder how much Stewart's got through the field. I think that one, really the second yellow probably helped him when everybody hit pit road. Probably was able to gain some spots in the pits because he was back at 42nd. 1 point. Kenny Schrader with a massive run to the inside of Terry Labonte in the 44. Junior in line behind both of them as they were side by side. Gets to the inside of Labonte. On the backstretch, Kenseth with a big block on the 49 of Kenny Schrader. Earnhardt clear of Labonte. Stays clear. Labonte almost crossed him over, but not quite. Dale Jr. will make the pass on Kenny Schrader. Even in dirty air, at least on relatively fresher tires, as far as early in the run goes, Dale Jr. holding on pretty well. Kenseth shaking into turn 1, trying to get to the inside of Scott Riggs. Jr. looking low off turn 2, Kenseth trying to block. A couple of 2000 rookies battling for position. One a former champion, and Matt Kenseth in 2003. Dale Jr. looking for his first title. Both getting around Riggs through turns 1 and 2 as they follow each other for right now in 35th and 36 after different accidents they were involved in that have put them in the back of the pack. Obviously, Junior's got a lot more severe damage than Kenseth. It's going to make him a little tougher for Junior to pass some of these faster cars in the field like Kenseth. Jack Johnson, thanks for tuning in. I just have to follow Kenseth through there because he's pulling some major blocks. But, oh man, almost made contact with the 22. Major blocks by Kenseth. Major side draft, little contact with the 22 of Wimmer. Knocked Wimmer into the wall. You saw how much damage that flashed on that right-hand corner, upper right-hand corner of the screen where the track map is at. Junior made that contact. Again, he's got to be careful. Any little bit of contact is very dangerous for the 8 car at these high rated speeds and with the damage he's already got. Ends up with a block on Marlin Jr. already underneath the 0-1 of Joe Nemechek. Drives it in deep, clears him, middle of the corner, drove it in really deep, slid up the track a bit. Nemechek with the crossover down to the bottom. He saw the 40 car go a bit wide as well. That's why he drove it in as deep as he did, so he could try to stick the bottom and also get underneath the Marlin. Junior going up the track in the wall. That did not work. And there is no outside lane at this Atlanta Motor Speedway. I mean, there kind of is, but not a lot of grip up there. We saw John Andretti spin out. Got up there, and it's more damage to the 8 of Dale Jr. as he's back to 37th again. Remember NASCAR 05? Even NASCAR Thunder 04, and NASCAR Thunder 04, out of the 1.5 mile racetracks on drivability, this was probably the easiest of them to keep control of your car. For whatever reason, I can't find a setup in this game. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't have mattered because Tony Stewart wrecked us on lap, what, 6 or 7, so haven't really had, never would have had an opportunity with a clean race car to see how much speed and handling we had. Now the car's junk and the speed is all out the window. Might as well attach a parachute to the back of the car. Car gets underneath Dale Jr. I think the best thing for him, let him through, try to hop back in line behind him if there's a hole. So he might have to look out of the rearview mirror ahead of time or be aware of the cars he is battling for position in that predicament so he knows about when to make that move. And we're going that middle to upper groove right now. Trying to get a run on the 10 car of Scott Riggs. Couple Scotts running nose to tail at the rear of the field. And 35th and 36th. Ends up actually not making as many passes. Stalled out 34th, it appears. He's actually on the outside lane currently through 3 and 4. Junior could get underneath Wimmer. A little side draft, but he's not able to stay alongside of him. There is 0 straightaway speed in this 8 car. Jimmy Johnson seemingly pulling away. Front of the field. Track map on the upper right hand corner of the screen. The 22-bit arrow loose. Hung up on that left rear quarter panel. Finally gets around Wimmer for position. Tighten the dirty air behind Riggs, slides up just a bit in the middle of the corner, but didn't lose that spot. Wimmer will stay in line behind the 8 of Earnhardt. Earnhardt with a bit of a run, actually looking to the inside of Riggs. Into turns 3 and 4. Man, got a little arrow loose. Washed up the track almost into Riggs with Scott Wimmer right on his back bumper right now. Fastest lap of the day so far for Earnhardt with the damage, 29.450. Never got to run a fast lap in traffic because he only had about 2 laps where he's up to speed without any damage, and he had cars directly in front of him. Yeah, Wimmer. Ends up able to get back by Marlin. Dale Jr. to the inside of Boris Said off turn 4. Past the 36 car. 29.43, won that last lap for Dale Jr. Every time I get so close to that apron when I'm trying to make a pass, my heart sinks. You know, like when you go over, when you're on a roller coaster, you go down the hill and your stomach drops. Like, that's exactly what happens. Especially in the situation I'm in right now with a severely damaged car. One little loop, it's done. We're done. Oh my gosh. All my hair is going to fall out by the end of this race. I'm going to age like 10 years over the next 3 hours. If we make it that far. If I even live to be that old. Ends up making a pass on Jason Leffler. You're slowly reeling that 17 car back in again. That pit crew having that mistake under green flag conditions ultimately didn't cost Junior because he was still a lap down and he got the free pass with that second caution. That was really the first mistake the pit crews made all chase. I think they weren't ready for Junior to make a green flag stop at lap 7 like he did. Leffler with the block, Junior lets him back in line. Bump drive to the back of Leffler on the back straightaway. He doesn't even really want to do that. Leffler just threw a block. And Junior middle of the backstretch, and there was no lip that time. I mean, he's gradually made his way through the field. He's gained about 9 positions in, what, how many laps since the last restart? Like 25? 24 laps. I think we restarted at lap 51. He's got slightly fresher tires. So that's a bit concerning. And it's only about 7-8 lap fresher tires, so it's not too much of a difference. I haven't noticed anybody else out of the race. I think all 43 cars still in it. Leffler to the inside of Joe Nemechek in the 0-1. Dale Jr. going to follow Leffler through. Oh, contact! One car sideways, middle of the back straightaway, saves it. Kenny Wallace, after contact with the 40 of Sterling Marlin, it was 3 wide on the outside, made contact with the 40. Casey Mears was down low. That's 3 positions for Earnhardt to move to 29th. Both Kens at the Earnhardt got by all of it. Quick awareness on the backstretch by Earnhardt as we about had our 4th accident already. I don't know what happened there. I think they were just 3 wide, funneling down the backstretch. I don't know if Wallace maybe tried to block or what happened there. About half a tank of fuel right now for Dale Jr. He's going to sit behind the 17. He's not going to look to pass him right now. I gave Jr. 5 spots. 34th to 29th. Situation you really don't want to work with the chase drivers. The good news is Kenseth's behind Earnhardt anyway in points. So if you're going to work with anybody, you're going to have to work with guys that aren't Jeff Gordon and Carl Edwards. At least for this race. Mr. Wallace blocking Kenseth on the front stretch. Dale Jr. checking up because the 17 had to check up. Kenseth to the inside of Wallace. Turns 1 and 2. Kenseth runs that 2 car wide. Dale Jr. underneath of Rusty as well. Jr. hooks that white line all the way through the middle of turns 3 and 4, and he'll make the pass on the 2 of Wallace as well. 80 laps in, 7.5 seconds off race leader Jimmy Johnson is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Gaining 15 spots since the last restart, a bit wide. The only problem with following Kenseth like this is the car wants to get tight in the middle of the corner now. There's nobody directly on my back bumper getting the car any sort of aero loose. Now there's an aero push on the nose. Basically the hole that's already in the front of the race car as well. The right front of it. Kenseth's just kind of mimicking the line of Junior because he's just trying to protect his position, even though Junior doesn't have much of an intention to pass him. He needs Kenseth to be the driver on the offense, though, right now, because if he doesn't make moves, Junior's not going to be able to follow him and make any moves either. Side by side through turns 3 and 4 between Jeff Burton, Jimmy Spencer. Burton to the inside of Spencer. Kenseth's got to run on the front stretch. Looks to the inside of Shane Meal. Into turns 1 and 2. Junior follows Kenseth closely. Kenseth quickly to the inside of Spencer. Spencer didn't get down quick enough when he had a chance after Jeff Burton passed him 2 more spots for the 17 and the 8. Moving up to 25th and 26th. Matt Kenseth's got a fast car tonight, ladies and gentlemen. He's already got 1 win in the chase at Talladega. Oh, Kenseth went wide. And Junior's just going to take it. He's got to if he's going to leave it that open. Kenseth almost got in the wall. He got tight behind Jeff Burton in the 31. And at least Junior's not the last chase driver anymore. And Kenseth's still stuck on the outside. He's going to lose a couple positions, it looks like. Shane Meal going to get back around him. And Junior able to get right back down in line again. At least both of the DEI teammates are still up ahead. Mark Church Jr., Michael Waltrip. Junior's had to pit 3 times today. Everybody else has only pitted once, except for John Andretti. Remember, he pitted during that second caution. Actually, it was the 3rd yellow because Ricky Rudd was the second caution. That 3rd caution, Andretti started after spinning off the exit of turn 2, getting up into the marbles before losing control of his race car. He pitted during the last yellow as well. And that right front tire starting to go away on the 8 of Earnhardt. Oh, I think Jeff Green just scrubbed the wall off turn 2. Car behind him's got to run and will take it to the inside. Not sure who's battling him for position from this far back. Tony Stewart throwing the block means he can't drive 55. Got a throwback call out to the 2020 All-Star race. 2021 All-Star race, sorry. Side by side in front of Burton. He was able to catch up to Ricky Rudd, Jeff Green. Rudd flipped. His brought out the yellow. He was up all the way on his lid. Junior was more on his side, but call it a flip still. Burton on the inside of Rudd. They go up the track a little bit, side drafting each other. That's going to give Dale Jr. a run on the back straightaway to get to the inside of the 21 of Rudd. Trying to keep control of his car. Middle of the corner he will, and he'll make the pass for 24th. Follows Burton. One car that's flipped passes another car that's flipped. Johnson and Gordon, the 2 cars to beat today. Yeah, I know. I know the song. I just remember the performance before the All-Star race. Burton on the inside of Green. Junior with a run. Underneath both cars off the exit of turn 4. A bit loose into one that time. He's still on the inside of the 43 of Green. Powers through, middle of the corner, and he's loose because the 21 of Rudd's all over his back bumper, getting him a bit air loose. All the way through the front stretch, Junior can feel the car yawing out quite a bit. But Jeff Burton can put the hammer down, start to pull away, because Junior's trapped behind the 31. Ricky Rudd's still there on the 8. Rudd applying the pressure, looking low. Junior kind of boxed in right now. Looks low. Is up the track a bit. So does Burton. Rookie run to the inside. Junior for a moment looked to be cleared down to the bottom. Thought better of it. He's just going to play it safe. Try to run the outside in line behind Burton. Saw the 14 lose control on the outside on his own, so Junior's going to have to be careful. Jeff Burton with a bad block. He has turned the 8 around, and that is going to cause a major wreck. Junior has flipped at Atlanta. I think he's still in it. He has flipped again after Jeff Burton now throws a bad block and has wrecked Dale Jr. Junior has flipped twice tonight and is still in this race. Burton took a hard hit into the outside wall as well. That is 2 cars that have thrown terrible blocks on Dale Jr., causing the 8 car to wreck. Junior had a run. He got to the inside. He was there. Burton pulled down and blocked. I don't know how this 8 car is even running still. Burton and Stewart have both wrecked Earnhardt. Same exact move, only that time is going into turn 3 rather than turn 1, but still. Junior can't catch a break right now, and it's nothing of his own doing. That's caution number 4, by the way. Kevin Harvick has won the race off pit road. Non-chaser will take the lead. Earnhardt's going to be 5th because he couldn't pit for fuel or tires. So now he's on older tires, restarting at the front of the field with a car that has just flipped a 2nd time. Green flag back in the air at Atlanta, lap 96. About a quarter tank of gas left for the 8 of Earnhardt as well in this restart. Oh, what a restart by Boris said. What a pit stop by that 36 team as well. Gordon's lost quite a few spots in the pits. Junior not taking... I mean, look at how slow this 8 car is. It takes him a while to get up to speed. He's flipped twice now. I don't know if he's even got any speed left. Oh, 1 car blowing up at the front of the field. Who is it? Driver in 4th. I think it was Elliott Sadler in the 38. Oh, McMurray's in the wall off turn 4 now. These restarts have been wild today. Don't forget about that. Rear tires in the yellow, right front the yellow right now for Dale Jr. Follows Gordon to get by, said. Jr. on much older tires than the rest of the field right now. Trying to hang in. Sadler blows an engine though. Guaranteeing that Dale Jr. is going to finish better than him at least. At the worst. Sadler 11th in the point standing still. Well, the good news is Junior's gained track position with that caution. The bad news is, obviously, this car's still lacking some speed. And now he's lacking the grip in the tires as well, being involved in that last accident, despite it not really being his fault. He's doing all he can right now to try to keep up with the cars in front of him. Matt Kenseth, 17th team, had a quick pit stop as well. Kenseth's rallied back inside the top 10, though he's on fresher tires. Kenseth looking low. And Dale Jr. Got Jr. a bit arrow loose. He was all over that left rear corner panel. Jr.'s going to give Kenseth the inside through 3 and 4, hoping that that 17 car is going to get around him. And he is clear, middle of the front stretch. Kenseth to 7th. 100 laps in. Dale Jr. has survived so far at Atlanta. Hopefully there's a yellow I'm not involved in again, which the way this race has gone, I would probably think that that will be the case. I thought Carl Edwards was going to be a lot better today. He has been nowhere to be found. That's where he got his first career win in real life in his rookie season, but today he is off at Atlanta. Despite being one of the best drivers on the mile and a half this season, if not the best. Alan Williams, thanks for tuning in. That's basically the playoffs. Eighth of a tank of fuel left for Dale Jr. He's going to have to make a green flag pit stop very soon if he doesn't get a caution. Caution's going to put him at the back of the pack again, though. That's the problem. I mean, pretty much that wreck is lost. It gained a track position temporarily, but ultimately he's going to lose the track position as a result of that last yellow. So that is definitely a tough break for Earnhardt. Definitely doesn't have the pace right now. Bobby Labonte in the 18. Good run for another chase driver inside the top 10. Squeezing to the inside of Dale Jr. Jr. got a bit loose. Great job keeping it off the wall. He was up in the marbles off the exit of turn 2 as Bobby Labonte will make the pass for 8th place. Labonte hooking that white line, moving through the field. And closing in on Jeff Gordon and Matt Kenseth. Harvick holding on to his track position with the clean air after restarting in the lead, winning the race off pit road. Kenseth making a move on Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte to follow. Dale Jr. on the inside of Jeff Gordon as well. Kenseth a little loose off turn 2, blocks Labonte on the back straightaway. Jr. didn't lift any extra that time, had a big run, but didn't pull out of line to make the move. Trying to hold on to his race car with Gordon now putting pressure behind him. Labonte looking low under Kenseth. Kenseth with the block, middle of the corner. There was no contact there. These guys are barely holding on. It's amazing the work that the 18 of Bobby Labonte is doing right now to just try and find a way to get alongside Matt Kenseth. Gordon peeks to the inside of Dale Jr. through 1 and 2, but couldn't quite get to the inside of the 8 car either. Into 3 and 4, Gordon got into the corner really well. Gets alongside Earnhardt. Earnhardt up high now on the front stretch. 29.330 that last lap for Dale Jr. Gordon slides clear of the 8. Jr. only going to be able to go about another lap or 2 on fuel, it looks like. Gordon down to the inside of Bobby Labonte for position. 24 and the 18 side by side on the back stretch into turns 3 and 4. Dale Jr. now to the inside of the 18 of Labonte. And O'Clair for 8th place. With a run now to the inside of Jeff Gordon in the 24 car. Gordon with a run, though, simultaneously on Kenseth, looks to the inside. Kenseth trying to get back down to the inside. He'll have room in the back straightaway now. Jr. widens his arc off into turns 3 and 4. Got a bit loose on corner entry. Jr. will stay out this time. He's going to pit the following lap. Dale Jr. will pit at lap 110. Trying to push on fuel in case we get another caution here. So he doesn't have to pit under green flag conditions again, but it looks like he's going to have to this time by. Junior's got some speed left in the car. He doesn't have race winning speed, but he's got decent speed. He could get a top 10 if he can just get the track position on equal tires. He's going to let Bobby Labonte go. Plenty of room behind him so he could use the bank and get into the pits. Brakes at the last second to keep from speeding. 4 tires and fuel for Dale Jr. No adjustments on the 8 car this time. Just gonna take 4 tires. First green flag stop was not a clean one for Junior's team. Second one will be. It's the fourth stop of the day already for this 18 from Ford Tires and Fuel. Torres, thanks for tuning into the stream. So Dale Jr. right back to where he was about lap 31 before that second caution came out. He's the first and only driver one lap down. So he's either going to need everybody to cycle back through pit stops and or going to need a caution to get the free pass again. It's a long ways to go in this race. We've seen a lot of yellows already, 4 of them through the first 100 laps. I'm sure we'll see more. I had a feeling it was going to be one of these kinds of races from that lap 1 accident. I kind of called it. I don't know if we're going to reach the Dover level of cautions, although you never know. This thing is far from over. Junior's just trying to salvage a good finish. I think I'm accepting the fact that I'm likely not going to win this race. I mean, everybody still has a chance, because you never know what the strategy can play like at the end. But based off the speed in this race car, it is not race-winning speed. Not with this damage. We were struggling to hang on to about 8th place there before our stop, but we can get a top 10 if we can get the right track position. And under the right circumstances, maybe we can put ourselves in position to win, but we're not going to win this race on speed. So the only way to do it is on strategy. To have a strategy, you're going to have to get back on the lead lap. Good news is, with all the cautions we have had, there hasn't been any lap traffic yet for the leaders, because nobody else has made any green flag stops other than Dale Jr., so there hasn't really been an opportunity for the cars to really spread apart a whole lot in this race. We're on this 1.5 mile racetrack, which has allowed Dale Jr. to hang on to it. I mean, Edwards hasn't had a great day. He has not been in the top 10 this entire race. So there is a chance there that if Dale Jr. could get a top 10, he could actually still pick up points on Edwards. The only 2 drivers still to lead laps in this one that are in the chase, at least, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. Harvick's also led laps after winning the race off pit road. Led the first few laps after this most recent restart. But that is it. Yep. As we always say, that is right, Michael. Anything can happen in a full race. We're going to stay in it. I don't give up. I kind of did at Charlotte, but we can't do that anymore. Yeah, Edwards hasn't been in the top 10. I know that for a fact. I know at the start of the race, he was like 15th. And I mean, we restarted. We were in as far back as 9th from that last restart. Restarted in 5th. He wasn't in front or in that battle with us. So at the very best, with us pitting, he'd be in 9th right now, but I don't think he was. I think he's definitely been outside the top 10. Jeff Gordon's got a good shot to pick up a lot of points. He's got a fast car today. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, the ones to beat, them being the Hendrick Chevys. Johnson has got the fastest of the 2 cars, but Gordon, his teammate, probably the only other driver, if given the track position, that could actually keep up with the 48. Remember, Jimmy Johnson has not won a race all season. Not in the regular season or the chase. He is the only driver within 1 race worth of points of the lead, as of right now in the season, that doesn't have a win, and he is also only one of 2 chase drivers without a win. The only other driver in the chase without a win is Bobby Labonte, who's 9th in points. Labonte was actually the 10th and final seed to make the chase as well, where Jimmy Johnson, if I remember correctly, was the 3 seed. Johnson could get that first win today, become the 12th different winner on the season, and the 9th different chase driver of the 10 to win. We have had only chase drivers win in the chase races so far. Earnhardt with 3, Bliss with 1, Kenseth with 1. think I'm forgetting one. Who else won in the chase? You know what? I think Edwards won at Charlotte, didn't he? Yeah, because he had a max points day. And Edwards. Be more aggressive. Do you have any other input to add? Can't really do anything here. I mean, I can be aggressive on strategy. That's about all I can be aggressive with this car. This car's junk. It's just slow. I mean, it doesn't drive that bad, at least in clean air. It actually sticks to the track in clean air, but it's just so slow. But then in traffic, it's something. Bonnie was 41 in 2005. Did not know that. Couldn't tell for sure. It looked like a couple cars got together in turn 2. Might have spaced the back of that pack up just a bit more. None of these passes would be for position. Junior's just got to make sure he doesn't fall a second lap down right now. He's well ahead of Johnson as we run. And we do know that the rest of the field will have to pit before Dale Jr. would have to make another green flag stop. So ideally, a perfect caution would be after everybody cycles through, because that would actually put Dale Jr. back on the lead lap that way without the free pass and get some track position out of it as well. I mean, the caution comes out, he's definitely pitting regardless because he can get the free pass. Whether everybody pits or not, you'd have to restart at the rear of the field regardless. Yeah, I mentioned Bliss won Dover. Kenseth won Dega. Dale Jr. won New Hampshire, Martinsville, and Kansas. I think Edwards won at Charlotte. Come on, Junebug. Go through that field pass or not field pass, but the... We'll just have extra field passes in the Texas race on Thursday night. As long as we don't get in a wreck there. A mile and a half track is probably just as fast, probably right behind Atlanta as far as overall speed. Track's a little more narrow off the exit of the corners than Atlanta. Track's a lot wider. Not as much anymore since the repave and reconfiguration. In this time period it was. Wasn't it like 55 feet from the wall down to the apron? Junior does have the freshest tires in the field right now. I think that 144 car just bottomed out right in the middle of the corner. Running at the back of the pack. Next Cup race is on Sunday. That'll be the first playoff race for the Cup Series. Real life race, that is. Fisher. I was trying to figure out who this Who this guy was. I guess his last name is Fisher. The 144. That's who Dale Jr.'s with right now. It's already been a wild race at Atlanta. I don't think the wildness is done yet. We're going to get something happening here. We're either going to get back into this race, or we're going to have other chasers that are going to have problems. I'm surprised of all the wrecks we've had that only 2 chase drivers have actually been in the wrecks. Junior underneath the 144 car. Into 3 and 4. Lifted a little early. He knew that 144 was probably going to cut down and block him on entry. That's how Dale Jr. literally flipped twice in this race because of contact just like that. He doesn't really have any incentive to try and make a pass because it's not even for position anyway. All he would was just put his car at risk of potentially DNFing if he wrecks again. Frank Barton, thanks for tuning in. For the 144 car back at Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, I'm not trying to make a pass on him. I looked for it the one time I got alongside of him off turn 4, and then he threw a block, and the one I lifted let him go. It's just not, it's not worth it. I mean, I'm going to have to make moves at some point. Now's not the time. I mean, it'd be different if I was on the lead lap and he was a lap down in that essence, but not when I'm a lap down and he's on the lead lap. I feel like I have to be careful whenever these guys decide to pit. I probably imagine it's going to be some point after Dale Jr. is halfway through his fuel run. 1:29.3 sitting in line behind him, so he's not doing too bad. Oscar Mira Herrera, thanks for tuning in the stream. What up, Dale Jr.? As if I'm Dale Jr. I'm racing as him. Junior will make the pass on the 144. He had a nice run, and there was no block that time going into 3 and 4. 29.2 flat that last lap. Fastest of the day for Dale Jr. After flipping twice, I don't know how he ran a 29.2 there. But he did. .275. 145 thought about throwing a block, didn't do it. Stuck on the outside, Junior's going to clear him. Terry Labonte now to the inside of Shane Meal. Meal qualified in the top 10. He has really fallen back. We'll get to the trivia question at the halfway mark. Not quite there yet. I will have to look it up, so just a fair warning. I'll have to pause it when the time comes. Just to go to showing how long this race is. We're not even halfway home yet in this 500 miler. over an hour and 15 minutes. About an hour and a half in. The yellows early in this race have definitely slowed it down a bit. It's one of the longer green flag runs of the race so far. We might have actually hit the longest green flag run of the race up to this point, as it has been over 40 laps since the last caution. This 44 car, Terry Labonte, making some moves at the back of the pack right now. Bill Jr. trusting him. He's following him. Labonte to the inside of Kyle Petty in the 45 car now. Continuously making passes, following the 44. Labonte is a Hendrick Motorsports driver, so he's got the same equipment the 48 and the 24 has, and we know how fast those two cars are, so if this Junior was to follow anybody back here, it would be them. Be interested to see where Earnhardt would cycle out of the pits when everybody does decide to pit again. I have no idea where Michael Waltrip or Martin Truex Jr. are at. I know Waltrip qualified 6th, but we have not seen either of them in the top 10. Over the last few restarts, we haven't seen them at the very back of the field either. So they're probably somewhere jammed between probably 11th and 25th on the racetrack, if I had to guess. Kyle Busch just a few cars up ahead, another Hendrick Motorsports car. I have to think that 5 car would have more speed than the 44. .218 that last lap for Dale Jr. Labonte to the inside of Kenny Schrader in the 49. Jr. falls him. Kyle Busch making a pass on Jimmy Spencer. 5 and the 50 still side by side yet. Spencer cutting off Terry Labonte. Middle of the corner. Spencer looking to cross Kyle Busch back over. Junior going to get tight in the dirty air behind the 44 of Labonte. And Kenny Schrader in the 49 going to get by on the bottom. Kyle Busch got in the wall off turn 4. Junior had to check up in line behind the 44 car. He got on the brakes, in fact, off the exit of the corner to keep from running into the back of Labonte. For Busch hit the wall right in front of his teammate. Rookie error from Busch. Continues to battle Jimmy Spencer. Texas Terry might take him 3 wide off turn 4. He's looking for it. He's got to run. Keeps taking the peeks at Kyle Busch. Not actually making the moves yet. Busch is clear of Jimmy Spencer. He wants to get back up there with those Hendrick Chevys. Schrader to the inside of Spencer. Labonte to the inside of the 5. Busch stuck on the outside. Schrader's going to get by Kyle Busch now. Busch with a block on Earnhardt. Jammed himself back in line, middle of the front stretch. Busch is definitely blocking the 5 right now. He's got to run. But now Kenny Schrader throws the block. Junior crosses Kyle Busch over off turn 4. Gets to the inside of the 5. They're side drafting each other on the front stretch. He's cleared Busch. And Jimmy Spencer trying to get back by the 5 again. Labonte going wide. Turns 3 and 4. Dale Jr. underneath him. Guess he won't work with the Hendrick Chevy of Labonte. Slides up just a bit. 44 going to give him room. Junior's cleared. Terry Labonte off turn 2. So we may just have to draft behind Kenny Schrader in the 49 car on the straightaways now. Now the field's really starting to get spaced out. Junior still in the free pass position for the time being. Right rear tire's starting to wear out a bit on the 8. Jimmy Spencer looking back to the inside in the 50. Junior up in the wall, up the exit of the corner. Michael Waltrip got a pit this time. We've actually got a couple cars on pit road currently for some green flag pit stops. So the field is pitting as we speak. So we know chance for Junior to get some of his spots back. Then he's going to be on older tires than the rest of the field once everybody cycles through. Harvick back in the lead. Jimmy Johnson is pit from the lead. Truex is in the pits currently as well. So where will Dale Jr. cycle off of the first overall green flag pit stops today, even though Junior's pitted twice under green flag conditions now? Big time crossover coming from the 49 of Kenny Schrader on the back of the 50 of Jimmy Spencer. Earnhardt to the inside of the 49. Doesn't want to take it 3 wide into the corner. He'll follow Schrader through 3 and 4. Let's get by Jimmy Spencer again. 155. Two flips. Not one, but two. Two separate wrecks in which we flipped. Cars on their way to pit road right now. Kevin Harvick will pit from the lead. Who will be the new leader this time by? Well, the 49 of Kenny Schrader still going to have to pit. It's on the outside of Dale Jarrett in the 88 as Jarrett's just exiting the pits. Jarrett's still trying to get up to speed. Ricky Rudd also still in the race after one flip of his own earlier on. Jarrett to the outside of the 49 of Schrader. Schrader will pit off turn 4. Schrader actually the leader. He stayed out longer than anybody else. So Johnson back in the lead. I'm not sure if Schrader was able to lead a lap or not. So we'll officially cycle through green flag pit stops with Jimmy Johnson back in the lead. Ricky Rudd to the inside of Dale Jr. looking to get around him for a spot. Drop Jr. back to 22nd. Rudd the 21 moves up to 21st. So Jr.'s about midway through the field as of right now. He's going to have to pit sometime soon. His teammate Mark Truex Jr. just a couple spots ahead of him, it looks like, in 20, actually 19th. Quite 20th. Dale Jr. looking low underneath Ricky Rudd. Will slide going into turns 3 and 4. Still got back to the inside of Rudd. Remember, Rudd on fresher tires and actually just passed Earnhardt a few laps ago. Dale Jr. going to battle back to the inside of the 21 of Rudd. Clears him into 1 and 2 for 21st on his own. It's impressive the 8 car is able to hold on to this old of tires. Even though it is mid-pack drivers he's racing around right now, he has flipped twice and on older tires. Still finding a way to get the best finish he possibly can out of this race car tonight. About a half a track behind race leader Jimmy Johnson. Something he's going to have to manage when he keeps making pit stops. He's definitely going to have a good quick stop. Remember, Junior makes his way down next. He's going to take this run as far as he possibly can. Well, Jarrett and Earnhardt closing in on Truex. We're going to get team orders in. Oh, Jarrett with a block on Earnhardt. It's going to send the 8 in the grass. And he gets around Jarrett. Jarrett got the wall on the outside. Junior hangs on to it. Pass in the grass. That hit landed for Dale Jr. after a pretty bad block. And the one of Truex all over the back of the 8 of Dale Jr. right now. It's getting him so loose. Junior has to let him go again. Here comes Rudd. Junior is very loose now. He went through the grass. His tires are not clean anymore. And now he's losing more grip compared to what he was already losing before. That bad block by Jarrett on the front stretch. Junior held onto his car for a brief moment. But it has ultimately worn out his tires. And when he was making passes for position, he was already getting the most out of his car possible. Now he's not even really able to keep that pace up anymore. Power slide into turns 1 and 2. He wasn't this loose until the contact with Jarrett, which sent him into the grass. So if he just doesn't go in the grass on the front stretch, should be all right. Dale Jarrett to the outside of the 8. Dale Earnhardt Jr. not going to be able to make the pass there, although he had a run. All that smoke you see is for Junior the lap before. Jarrett again looking to the outside. He's not going to be able to get around the 8 car there. Truex clipped the apron just a bit. He holds on to his car. That would be a great time for a caution. At any point before Junior has to make another green flag stop, it'd be a good time for a caution for him to pit, hopefully bring the rest of the field in, pick this track position back up again. He's just going to let the 88 of Jarrett go. Jarrett's been putting a lot of pressure on him on the outside. Finally crosses Junior up to the bottom and gets around him for 21st on his own. Junior almost 17 seconds off the lead. Fuel tank indicator in the red right now, which means Dale Jr. is very low on fuel. Go maybe about another 4 or 5 more laps, and that would be about it. He last pitted for fuel and tires at lap 110. So, makes it to about lap 175, which is going to be the plan. That will be a 65-lap run on this fuel tank for Dale Jr. during this green flag condition. So lap 175 is when Dale Jr. will make his 5th stop of the day. He's pitted so many times Trying to repair this race car for damage purposes, make a couple different adjustment changes. How many races have I think you meant commentated on? We talk about the real races on the race weekend. I really have no clue. I'd have to go back and count them. They're all in a playlist titled under live NASCAR broadcast. I know last year I only did like 12. This year I've definitely done a lot more. I want to do it every week. I don't go to the track realistically. A couple off weekends where I'm going to my grandparents to watch the race as well. Definitely doing over half the season this year. Plus some extra truck and Xfinity races mixed in between, as I've done 4 truck races and 3 Xfinity so far. I plan on doing one more Xfinity race at Bristol in a couple weeks yet. Junior's held on to his car all the way through the run so far. He's just got to hang on for one more lap. He'll get to pit for 4 fresh tires. 17.4 seconds off the race lead right now. He'll need a quick stop. Well, he's out of fuel. Don't want to get turned by the 25 car. That really held up to 25. He was going to have to start coasting into the pits anyway. So he ran out of fuel at the right time. He really pushed it as far as he could, hoping for a caution. Didn't get it. 4 tires of fuel will be the call. No adjustment change. Not going to repair any damage here to try and quicken the pit stop up by a couple seconds. Junior's crew hoping for another fast stop. And will they get one? Been a problematic day, halt day for Dale Jr., and it will be a quick stop. Blazing. Oh boy, you better get up to speed quickly. Jimmy Johnson is coming. Junior's going to merge onto the racetrack. He saw the 50 and the 49. He was waiting for them to go. Now he's pulling back up. He is 1 lap down. He is not the first car lap down, though, so he would not get the free pass if a caution came out. That would be problematic because we've gone far enough into the run. There are other drivers. That are now a lap down in this race, other than Dale Jr. Terry Labonte going to get around Earnhardt on the front stretch. Dale Jr. still trying to get up to speed. R6, thanks for tuning in. Imagine he takes no fuel. Oh no. Don't say that. That's the first thing I checked now. I only made that mistake once. So Junior's got the freshest tires in the field, but the 48's got the fastest car. Junior's got damage. Junior can't go 2 laps down. He needs everybody to cycle back through pit stops again before a potential caution could potentially come out. We know he could go 65 laps on field. Pretty much a full 65 laps. 64 3/4 of a lap. It's about the exact amount of fuel, or of a fuel run. Probably going to go just 64 laps. It did cost him a couple seconds running out. Could have been a lot worse. He almost might need a caution sometime soon because Johnson, he's going to catch Dale Jr. at some point in time before Johnson has to pit again. Jr. can get back on the lead lap, but it's not going to matter if a caution comes out after he's 2 laps down. I mean, at least it would guarantee he doesn't fall a second lap down. But then he's going to have to fight for the free pass, though, if that happens, because he is definitely not in the free pass position and is a ways away from it. Poisonous Frog, thanks for tuning in. Come off the highest of highs last night, leading 401 laps at Martinsville to come into Atlanta. You flipped twice because of accidents in which a car tried to block you going into a corner. First Tony Stewart, then Jeff Burton. And now you're left in this situation, one lap down in 42nd at lap 182 of 325. Trying to find a way to get on the lead lap and stay there. Got the free pass once. He's probably not going to be able to do that again, which means he's going to need a better timing caution than what he had way back at lap 31. If I was sitting behind Labonte for right now, they're having a decent pace, running 29.2s. Oh, so much for that, never mind. Pulling out of line, he's making the pass on Labonte. He needs to go, he sees that 48 car closing in fast. Slowly catching the 50 and the 49, Jimmy Spencer, Kenny Schrader in front of him. Schrader's also got damage from an earlier accident. He was involved in that first wreck way back at lap 1. I pitted when I was about halfway on fuel the first time, so I have to make it about halfway through the field run before they even start the pit the next time. And Johnson is catching Terry Labonte in turns 3 and 4 right now. Dale Jr. to the inside of Kenny Schrader off of turn 4. Trying to get around the 49 car. Side drafts him on the front stretch. Stays alongside into turns 1 and 2. Jr.'s got a little bit fresher tires. He's got more grip. Holds on to the bottom. Will clear Schrader. That's another lap car between himself and Johnson. Johnson going to clear Labonte off turn 2. He's one to sit behind the 50 for right now. Johnson's blowing by that 44 car. He's had the fastest car on track all day. At least when he's had the track position, which he's pretty much had all day. Definitely gone out swinging. Yes, I am. I'm not giving up. Do you believe in miracles? I sure do. We'll see if we're going to have a miracle today. Time's running out for one, though, I'll say that much. We only have about 140 or so laps to go. I guess now would be an okay time to get the trivia question out to you guys. Means I'll have to pause it to do that. So I'll pause it real quick. We'll have our trivia question. I'll search it up and try to find an Atlanta track fact for you guys. All right. Alright, so today's question is, figure out a way to try to phrase the question. But this year's second Atlanta Cup race having 13 cautions. It was the second most cautions in a NASCAR Cup race at Atlanta in history. Who was the driver to win the NASCAR Cup Series race at Atlanta that had the most cautions? That will be tonight's trivia question. So which Cup Series driver won the Atlanta Cup race with the most cautions at Atlanta in Cup Series history? I'll give you guys to lap 200 to get the question correct. Get as many guesses as you want down in the chat. You don't have to name the year what the answer, but it is not Carl Edwards in 2005. The second date had the second most yellows. It's not Yarborough. Mark DeMars did get the question right. He did. I don't know if he got the year or not, but Jimmy Johnson is the answer. You didn't have to name the year. Oh, pause it real quick once again. I want to see what year it was. But Jimmy Johnson is the answer to tonight's trivia question. Yes, it was 2007. It was the fall race in 2007 that Johnson won, in which there was 14 cautions. That was the most cautions in a Cup race in Atlanta history. Dale Jr. starting to run a bit of a pace that is at least managing his gap over Johnson. Johnson closing in on the next lap car, Kenny Schrader. Considering Junior is one lap down right now, the leaders just crossed the start-finish line. We, as of right now, have exactly 130 laps to go at Atlanta. It is a two-stop race to the finish for everybody. Dale Jr., as well as the rest of the field, even with Junior on alternating strategy. So he is going to need at least one yellow, if not two, to have a shot to get back on the lead lap. Two yellows as if he gets a caution before everybody else pits, before he can get his lap back. Means he's no longer in the free pass position, nor will have a chance to get back in the free pass position in this race. Cale and Leroy go back to back to back at Atlanta. I honestly have no clue. Your guess is as good as mine. See you, David. Thanks for tuning in tonight. 31 likes on the stream so far. Junior is slowly getting away from Johnson. Junior does have a little bit fresher tires. I think Kenny Schrader's holding Jimmy Johnson up, though, too, which could be costly for the 48 car, considering he had a decent-sized lead. Spencer making a pass and Scott Riggs in the 10. Dale Jr. going to follow Jimmy Spencer. Fastest lap of the race that last time for Dale Jr. 29.197. First time he's gotten into the 29.1s today. Him running his fastest laps of the race is definitely allowing him to finally get away from Jimmy. To build this gap up just a little bit over the 48 car. Probably should have lifted there, but I didn't. It's okay. I thought Spencer was going to hit the wall. He got pretty wide off turn 2. Gone almost 30 laps into the run, which means everybody else is going to be pretty close to making a pit stop. Oh my gosh. It was an aggressive cut down off the exit of turn 4 from Boris Said. Looks like he's maybe going to potentially try a crossover move on Jimmy Spencer. Dale Jr. squeezes his way underneath of Said. Oh man, that was an aggressive block by Earnhardt. Get in front of the 36. Didn't want to waste any time. Didn't slide the car too much. I don't think it wore out the rear tires. I don't know if that pass on Said was for position or not, but Dale Jr.'s up to 41st. And no, it wasn't. Jimmy Johnson's on pit road. I think Johnson just blew an engine. Because Kurt Busch leads now. And the 48 was slowing up for a while before Kurt Busch took the lead, and there is a car on pit road, and Junior's gained a spot. Major championship implications going on right now. Johnson, I believe, has just blown a motor after dominating the first nearly 2/3 of this race. Oh my goodness. And now Busch leads, who's third in, well, actually fourth in points. Only 82 out of first. Edwards has been outside the top 10 all day. So is Junior. The best car in the field is not going to win. Johnson's out. It's going to guarantee Junior's not going to be the last of the chase drivers at the finish of the race. Junior's just now halfway out of fuel. It's definitely not a scheduled stop because he's still on pit road. He has been for about 3 laps now. I noticed that has to be the reason the 48 was slowing up, because it seems like Kurt Busch is running faster laps than Dale Jr. Jr. was pulling away from Jimmy Johnson all of a sudden. It was probably because the 48 was starting to lose power under the hood, and he's out now. And Kurt Busch starting to close back in. That has bought Dale Jr. a little bit more time of trying to stay one lap down, guaranteeing him one spot better of a finish as well. Johnson trying to go for his first Cup title. Of course, didn't get his actual first one until the 06 season. This is taking place in the 2005 season. He's got a run on Jimmy Spencer. Can't quite get underneath him though in the back straightaway. Sits behind him in 3 and 4. Also in line behind Kenny Wallace. One car heading to pit road for likely a scheduled stop. Junior is halfway on fuel, has been for a handful of laps now, so this is where we're going to be seeing green flag pit stops again. Junior needs the field to cycle all the way through, and then after they cycle all the way through, then he needs a caution. One car just scuffed the wall off turn 2 up ahead. Can't tell who that is from this far back yet. Junior's finally gotten around Jimmy Spencer, rides in line behind the 00 of Kenny Wallace. This is the first time Kurt Busch has led today also. Oh no, Johnson, hang on, Johnson's back in the lead again. I think Kurt Busch is... Okay, so, never mind. Jimmy Johnson has not blown an engine. I thought he did. I made the assumption Johnson was out of the race. I guess Kurt Busch has just ran him down and is battling for the lead, because now Johnson's back out in front. And I made that assumption because there was somebody that blew an engine. It was on pit road, giving Dale Jr. 41st. And I thought it was the 48 because simultaneously when that happened, Johnson wasn't in the lead anymore. So Kurt Busch has just ran down the 48 somehow over this extremely long green flag run of over 100 laps. So never mind, false alarm. Johnson's still in the race. Championship hope still alive for the 48. I guess the 97's got good long run speed in his car. He's made the right adjustments through the first few pit stops today, and he's contesting with Jimmy Johnson potentially for this race win. Well, contact for Dale Jr. and Kenny Wallace. Jr. got underneath the middle of the corner. Wallace made contact, chopping him off. Jr. hangs on to it. Didn't flip that time, thankfully. He's got roof damage on the car when you see it flash on the upper right-hand corner of the screen on the damage indicator. Could the engine have been Edwards? Maybe. I mean, we don't... I mean, I have no clue who that other car was now. We know it's not the DEI cars, and we know it's not Johnson or Busch at least. It could be anybody else for all we know. Cars in front of Dale Jr. going to hit pit road. Kenny Wallace, Jeff Green. Martin seems to be in right now as well. Kevin Harvick back to the lead. Johnson just pitted that time by, as well as Kurt Busch. Harvick back out in front. The right side tire's wearing out on the 8 of Earnhardt's race car. Can't have the caution yet, although it would trap a lot of cars a lap down. Dale Jr. wants to get back on the lead lap first, and then hope for that 5th caution. It's up to 26th right now. Kevin Harvick is just hitting pit road. Still in the pits, as are the rest of the leaders. So Dale Jr. should get back on the lead lap this time by. Harvick still in his pit box. 29.6s at this point in the run by himself for Earnhardt. Hit by Vickers. Dale Jarrett's just coming out of the pits up ahead. Trying to get up to speed. Dale Jr. is hopefully going to try to catch Dale Jarrett. Turns 3 and 4. Jarrett getting up to speed. Jr. is going to be close enough to hang in there with him. Kenny Schrader's still on the racetrack. Schrader in the lead. Second different time today, staying out longer than anybody else on fuel and tires, and he goes right back to Kurt Busch immediately. So Busch has cycled back to the lead following green flag pit stops. Dale Jr.'s in 21st on the lead lap, and is exactly 19.8 seconds off the lead. There's no chance Jr. can make this race on one more stop. I'm going to try to take this run as far as he can. Hope for the best. Again, the best time for a caution is honestly going to be right now. I mean, there's no better time. He's in 20th. Scott Wimmer in the 22 car right in front of him, trying to get up to speed in turns 3 and 4. Junior's digging hard. He's trying to get to Wimmer before Wimmer gets up to speed, so at least he can try to keep a little bit better pace. Get up about a tenth that last lap, 29.5. Well, a strategy? Hope for a caution, really. I mean, there's no other strategy. It's 2 stops for everybody. Nobody can make it on fuel from when they last pitted. We still have just over 100 to go, and Dale Jr. is not going to be able to get it down to 65 laps to go before pitting. He's not going to be anywhere close to that. He's already past halfway through the fuel run. Not even to 100 to go yet, so... Just got to hope for a caution. ASAP. It has to be before Earnhardt pits again. Oh, Harvick back to the lead. Yeah, you're right. So it's a 3-car battle, it seems like, between Harvick, Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson all of a sudden, despite Johnson dominating the majority of the race. Quarter of a tank of gas left for Dale Jr., so he can probably go about another 15 laps or so on fuel. Maybe a bit more than that. Probably say 15 to 18 laps at the very most is all he's going to be able to go. .100 laps left at the line this time for Kevin Harvick. There's quite a few cars a lap down. Not a whole lot. Decent amount. Junior to the inside of Scott Wimmer. Not going to make the pass. I'm not even sure if Wimmer's on the lead lap. He may be a lap down. Probably going to be another 4-tire stop for Earnhardt when he pits next again. Johnson back in the lead. Jimmy's led so many laps at this point, though. He's probably already clinched the most laps led with less than 100 laps to go in this race. Junior just trying to survive at all costs to keep this championship hopes alive in 20th place as we run on pit strategy. Johnson, Harvick, Kurt Busch battling for the lead. Busch and Johnson both in the chase. Harvick off that DNF in the last race in Martinsville last night, trying to get his second win of the season as a non-chaser. Busch already with 2 wins. Johnson looking for his first on the season yet. It's not going to be as easy as what it was once looking for Jimmy Johnson, even on this long green flag run. one car way wide. Way out of the groove. Shane Meal in the 08. And he's in the wall off the exit of the corner. Looks like Meal's already a lap down. That tells me Wimmer's probably a lap down too. Meal keeps his car under control though. That was about the same spot on the racetrack where we saw John Andretti wash up out of control when he was out of the groove earlier. That definitely stinks. Hopefully she gets a quick recovery. Maybe it's lesser than 8 to 16 weeks. As long as everything heals properly, at least. Jared going to get around Casey Mears. Big block by the 22 of Scott Wimmer. Three wide. In the corner. Wimmer in the wall on the outside. He couldn't hold it. He was a lap down. Casey Mears, on the other hand, was on the lead lap. So Junior's up to 19th, passing Mears with that three wide move to the bottom of the racetrack. Mears to the outside in turns 1 and 2, trying to get back around Earnhardt. Going to go back up the track. Casey Mears going to get back around him again. Likely. All four tires in the yellow right now for Dale Jr. at this point in the run. Mears is clear for 19th with a cross back over move on Dale Jr. I just realized that fuel indicator said dark red. Junior pit at lap 275, so it has been exactly 61 laps. Jarrett just scuffed the wall off turn 2. We know Dale Jr. can go to probably lap 238 to 240. Really hoping for the best right now as he's 20 seconds off the race lead, hoping for a caution. He's on older tires. Trying to find some way to get back into this race. Back on a good strategy. He's taking care of his tires a lot better during this run compared to the last one. Junior going to stay out this time. He'll pit at lap 239, so he only goes 64 laps this time, just so he doesn't risk running out of gas again. Really loose off turn 2. He actually made a bit of contact with the back of Casey Mears. That's why the car got as sideways as it did. I don't know if Mears checked up in the middle of the corner or what happened there. Dale Jr. going to have to pit this time. Which means he does not get the caution he needs for the second time in a row on this strategy. He's going to try to pit. Can't wreck. Off turn 4, onto pit road goes Dale Jr. No speeding penalty. 4 tires and fuel for Earnhardt. No adjustments once again. And again, Dale Jr. going to have to hang on Stay out, let everybody cycle through again, and then try to hope for another caution at the right time. And hope that he's only one lap down as well. And not 2 laps down, because there's losing a little bit of time there towards the very end of the run, right before he pitted. It's going to be a 17.4 second stop for Earnhardt. Oh, Jimmy Johnson's coming. Dale Jr.'s got to get up onto the racetrack. Oh, he just clipped the 77 of Quaffle. He saw Jimmy Johnson coming. He tried to get up, and he couldn't do it in time. Oh, my goodness. That was just a dangerous situation there for Earnhardt. Dire at that. Johnson's going to put him 2 laps down. Saw the 48 coming. And he tried to get up. It was too late. He's got cars double wide behind him as he sits in 40th. Contact 3 wide behind. Kyle Busch sandwiched between Jeff Green, Kenny Wallace. Junior in that middle to upper groove right now in turns 3 and 4. Earnhardt is 2 laps down. Green to the inside. Very close to the wall was Earnhardt off the exit of that last corner with Jeff Green underneath him. Scott Riggs, that blew an engine. I didn't even look. Oh, contact! Into the wall goes Earnhardt. Things are going from bad to worse. 3 wide, Kenny Walls, Kurt Busch, Jason Leffler. Kevin Harvick in the lead, meanwhile, on Jimmy Johnson. Junior's wearing out his tires really early into this run, too, which is not good. Just came out of the pits a few laps ago. And Carl Edwards in the 99, by the way, is the car in front of Dale Jr. So he is back inside the top 10. Harvick winning would help. We saw a non-chaser win. 3 wide. Nope, not quite. Side by side up there. Jeff Gordon making passes on lap cars. Gordon trying to get back into this with the 29, 97, and the 48 all battling. There is a chance for Jeff Gordon and Carl Edwards. Find a way to get back in. Gordon side drafting the 11 of Leffler up towards the outside as he looks to try and make a pass. Edwards in the 99 closing in. And Edwards going up the track just a bit. Side drafting the 43 of Jeff Green. Junior trying to steadily keep pace with the 99 of Edwards. The 11 of Jason Leffler going to move down right in front of Earnhardt. The other 24 car's got a lot of speed. That was a close call. Slide job for the 8 on the 00. Edwards going low. Underneath Jeff Gordon. I believe for 4th place, if I'm not mistaken, on the front stretch. Side by side between Edwards and Gordon. Edwards down low, Gordon on the outside. Junior gets arrow loose off turn 2 with Jeff Green right in line behind him in the 43. Junior stayed in the gas, drove out of it. Green in the wall. Off turn 4. Now he's got Leffler underneath him again. Junior's tires are going to be more shot at the end of this run compared to what they have at any other run at any point this race. Less than 75 laps to go. He's going to go wide in turns 1 and 2. He's going to let Jeff Green get underneath him. Was keeping up with the 24 and the 99 until Green got him a bit arrow loose. Now Junior's going to have to ride in line behind the 43. This fast mile-and-a-half racetrack, trying to pick up a little bit of draft that way. Jimmy Johnson back to the point of leading the Bass Pro Shops MBNA 500. 32 likes on the stream so far, by the way. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. Live race commentary on the video game side of things during the week. Realistic commentary at that. And on the real races on the race weekend. Live commentary of this Sunday Southern 500 at Darlington. Round of 16 playoff opener for the NASCAR Cup Series. Our coverage begins at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday evening, about a half hour or so before the start of the race. Get our pre-race in. Playoff predictions video will be out on the channel on Thursday. Will be the plan on that as well. Junior's tires aren't shot at this point in the run, but he's definitely worn them out a bit earlier in the run than what he would have liked. Contact with Quaffle kind of started it all when he was trying to blend into traffic in turns 1 and 2 before Jimmy Johnson would put him 2 laps down, and now just put him not only 2 laps down, but just well off the other cars. He somehow has passed another car in the racetrack 4 position. Who else is 2 laps down? I'm not entirely sure. Fastest lap of the race that last time for Dale Jr., 29.182. Gordon's still keeping up with the 99 of Edwards as well. Way up on the outside. Allowing Carl Edwards and Jeff Gordon to get by as they continue to battle for what I believe is 4th place. Still Gordon to the inside of Edwards. Passes for position on the 144 car as well for 39th momentarily. Junior's in danger of losing Jeff Green to the 43 car now, though. Green not battling for position with Edwards and Gordon, but he's keeping up with them pretty well. Green to the inside. The 99 of Edwards. Green going up the track, sliding up in front of causing Carl. This is costing Edwards a lot of time at the 43 car. Jeff Green, who's a lap down, battling him. Jeff Gordon is pulled away from the 99. We ran well over 200 laps, about 200. Well, actually, not quite 200, but we have ran in about 10 more laps, 200 laps during this current green flag run. We ended last night's Martinsville race on about a 215-plus lap green flag run to the finish. That race is 500 laps, so this is a much longer distance at Atlanta to go this many laps. So we had 4 cautions in the first 71 laps of the race. 44 looking to the inside of Dale Jr. Jr. going to leave that bottom lane open. It's passed for position by the 144. There are some cars on pit road right now that have made their final stop of the day as that fuel window was open to the end of the race now. Mears in the 41 down on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get up to speed. They're trying to follow Mears. Trying to get back by the 144. Mears just came out of the pits on pressure tires, so Junior would gladly follow him. Kurt Busch, meanwhile, back to the lead. Not sure if that means either Harvick or Johnson have pitted, or if he's just flat out past them. Stayed ahead of him on the racetrack long enough to take the lead again. Junior could stay out longer on field than anybody else. We know that. That is his plan, is to take this run as far as he can before hitting pit road. In the hopes of a caution coming out when he gets back on the lead lap. If he gets back on the lead lap, I mean, we don't even know now because he was only 1 lap down before and now he's 2 down. At the very least, hopefully he's in the free pass position at that point, but regardless of the fact, that's going to be the way he needs a caution. Caution comes out now, he's just going to get trapped 2 laps down. At least he'd have other cars to battle now, but you probably guarantee him finishing well outside the top 25. Depending on how many cars have already made their final stop. Oh, Mears just got in the wall. Casey Mears got in the wall off turn 2, and Dale Jr. got into his left rear in the aftermath of it. That would have been a terrible timing caution for Jr. That, again, would have trapped him 2 laps down. That pass for Mears was for position. Moving Jr. up to 33rd. He was willing to just sit behind the 41, but the 41 went a bit wide off turn 2, making a self-inflicted mistake. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles one final time in today's race for about the next dozen laps. Junior's back to running by himself again. I don't think Carl Edwards has pit already. That's one other thing. If we did get a caution, and Junior is going to be a lap down or 2 laps down, the hope is that Carl Edwards pits before the yellow comes out so he also gets trapped a lap down. At least Junior wouldn't finish as far behind him. Plus, Edwards would obviously lose positions in the process, regardless of the fact. Excuse me. Sorry, losing my voice there for a second. My voice box was shutting off on me. Edwards was either in 4th or 5th, and actually I think Edwards is just coming into the pits right now. That may be him that just pitted that last time by. Junior just hit halfway on fuel, so he can go about another 32 to 33 more laps on fuel yet, which would take him right about lap 300. He can go quite a ways. I believe Carl Edwards has just pitted, means he'll be a lap down at the start-finish line this time. It was a scheduled stop, final stop of the day, I believe, for the 99. Assuming it was the 99 that pitted. I believe it was. Michael Waltrip is on his way into the pits. .50 laps to go. This time by for Dale Jr. Being 2 laps down means that we're actually going to have about 48 laps left in this race. Kurt Busch to the lead. I believe Jimmy Johnson just pitted off turn 4. So the most dominant car in the field, Johnson now on pit road for the final time today. Cars on the bottom of the track, 4th position. Junior back in the top 30. Tony Stewart just pitted from behind. Dale Jr. Remember, he's the reason that Dale Jr. is even in this mess to begin with, all the way back at lap 6. Lap 6 or 7, that Tony Stewart had threw a bad block on Jr., causing him to flip the first time. The second flip hasn't obviously helped Dale Jr. either. Harvick's still on the track, so Junior's still 2 laps down. We don't know. Well, here's Kurt Busch in the 97. Trying to crowd Busch going into 3. Not going to happen. Kurt Busch, who was one of the leaders, has cycled out of pit road right in front of Dale Jr., but back to the far chase cam for the rest of this race now. Junior's going to keep up with Busch. Try to, at least. hurt on much pressure tires, one of the fastest cars in the field. So Dale Jr. will not be on the lead lap when everybody cycles through, but if he's right behind Busch, as long as Jimmy Johnson's not too far ahead, can Dale Jr. at the very least, be in the free pass position? He just ran his fastest lap of the race. 29.181 that last lap for Earnhardt. Fastest of the day as he follows one of the fastest cars in the field. Beat by Terry Labonte in the 44. Labonte getting up to speed. Junior can't afford to get aero loose right now with Labonte behind him. Left off a bit that last lap, 29.2 still. How much longer? I was going to say, Harvick sounds like he's going to pit this time. I was wondering how much longer he was going to go on fuel. Dale Jr.'s in 23rd. Harvick's in. Junior's one lap down now. He's no longer two down. I'm not sure who the leader's going to be. It's either going to be Kurt Busch or Jimmy Johnson. Harvick just coming off of pit road. He's down on the apron in turns 1 and 2. Jimmy Johnson in the lead at Atlanta. Junior to 22nd. Ricky Rudd on the inside of the 48 car. Rudd is the first car, one lap down. That is who Junior has to catch in case we get a late yellow. He's going to catch the 40 of Marlin, who's on the outside. Kurt Busch going to get around him through 3 and 4. Dale Jr. will as well for 21st. Fastest lap of the race, 29.175 that last lap for Dale Jr. Still not down to a quarter tank of fuel left. He can run this out about another 20 laps at least yet before he has to pit. At the very least, Junior needs to be the free pass car. Kurt Busch running down Jimmy Johnson right now for the race lead. Knowing they're both good on fuel to the end. 29.09 won that last lap for Dale Jr. Ricky Rudd goes wide through 1 and 2. Kurt Busch going to get by him. Dale Jr. is going to fall to 97. Dale Jr. back to the free pass position. Johnson in the wall off turn 2. Kurt Busch has a run on the back straightaway looking for the lead. Bit aero loose was Junior that time through 3 and 4 with Ricky Rudd dropping in line behind him. Rudd's going to battle Earnhardt for the free pass position. Junior on much older tires, can't give it up. Will we get a caution? Kurt Busch looking for the lead. And help from the 8 of Earnhardt. Busch leads down the backstretch into 3 at Atlanta. Johnson back to 2nd into 3 and 4. Will there be a caution? And any other cars Kurt Busch catches, Junior's going to have to get around quickly so he can stay in the free pass position as he remains in 19th. Way up the track goes Earnhardt. Got really tight that time. Rudd gets by Johnson too. Johnson's fading. That 48 car. Johnson has gotten back by Rudd temporarily. Quarter tank of gas left for the 8 of Earnhardt. I mean, this is the moment of truth. Dale Jr. needs a caution. Can't cause it because otherwise he can't pit for fuel and tires anyway. This might actually be Kyle Petty in the 45 car up ahead. If that's the case, he would not be for position for Junior. So Junior would still be the first car one lap down. Busch is pulling away from Johnson. Kyle Petty stays wide. He'll let the race leader go to the bottom of the racetrack. Junior going to clear Petty off turn 2 as well. Surprised Junior's tires aren't more shot at this point in the run, considering how much he seemed to be using them up at the beginning of the run, which definitely costed him a chance of staying at the lead lap. And why he is the first car one lap down, but still, it would guarantee him a top 20 finish if a caution came out. I mean, the way this race started, I thought we were going to get a lot more cautions than what we did. We had the first 4, and it has been over 200 laps since the last yellow. You'd have to think we're due. Drivers are going to be racing more aggressively with each other now than what they were before. It's going to be a long ways to go on tires, but if you're Dale Jr., do you risk potentially going fuel only to the end of the race? Try to get the best position possible in your finishing result. He's still got to go 2 laps down. He was only in 37th place before the pit stop started. Lose 18 spots if he took 4 tires. Caution came out though, he'd have the freshest tires in the field. And he's obviously keeping up with the leader. Or he's just following him in line at least. He doesn't take off well in the restarts though, so that's a downside. Take him a couple laps to get going. We know for a fact he'd be able to take 4 tires before in the yellow. The tire wear indicator now at the left front getting there. 30 laps to go, this time by for Kurt Busch. 1/8 of a tank of fuel left for Dale Jr. Last pitted at lap 238. In 3 laps would be 60 laps to go, and he's been able to go about 64 laps to 65 laps on a full tank of fuel. So he's got about 7 or 8 more laps of fuel left, roughly, in his tank, hoping for another caution. Again, even if he doesn't pick up any spots in the restart, it at least guarantees him 19th, which is better than where he's been running pretty much all day. Fortunately, Junior has not led any laps. Very few drivers have. As far as chase drivers, only 3 chasers have led. Jeff Gordon very briefly, then Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch. Busch is just pulling away from Jimmy Johnson. .28 to go for Busch. Jimmy Johnson may still remain winless. This will be the 3rd win of the year for Kurt Busch if he can hang on. His first chase win. He's the 5th different chase driver of the 10 to win a chase race. And we'll keep the trend of only chase drivers winning chase races through the first 7 chase races. I'm not causing the caution. Not going to do it that way. Although, Kurt Busch really squeezed that 14 car. John Andretti up near the wall. Andretti a couple laps down. I thought for a second there, Kurt Busch and John Andretti were going to get together. Just about did. Andretti might have scraped the wall a little bit off turn 2. Definitely tell Kurt Busch is pressing really hard. He can manage these tires coming into the pits. He's still got a decent pace. As long as he doesn't run directly in front of another car and risk getting aero loose, I think Dale Jr. is just going to go fuel only on this final stop. As long as it's under green. That's what I would do. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Desperate times call for desperate situations, but I wouldn't feel right if I did it. I wouldn't live myself down if I won the championship if I did that. It just does not feel right. That's why if I'm involved in an accident in any way, I'd try to pit. Especially if it's my fault for just intentionally turning somebody. 23 to go this time by for Busch. Junior's got about another 3 or 4 more laps in the tank for fuel. It'd be really deflating if we did get a caution after Junior pit. Remember, in all but 2 chase races, we have had cautions in the final 20 laps. That is worth noting. And we currently, as Kurt Busch leads, we've got 23 laps to go. And for the 6 chase races, we have seen cautions. 20 or less laps to go. Late yellows. Last mile and a half. At Charlotte, even at Kansas, when Dale Jr. even won, we had 2 cautions in the final 18 laps. It's definitely going to be a gas-only stop, though, and it's going to be just enough for Dale Jr. to make it to the end, too. Probably be a half a tank. I don't know if a quarter of a tank would make it. Junior staying out 1 more lap. He'll go to lap 304. He is really stretching this second to last fuel run out. He's out of gas in 1 and 2. He pushed it 1 lap too far. This is going to be costly. He just got to hold up traffic behind him. This is going to cost him time. Even if he goes fuel only, it's going to cost Dale Jr. Kurt Busch is going to run away with it now. Johnson's going to have to hold up. Cars are scattering. 3, 4 wide. Junior finally going to pull out of the way, get down to the apron. He stretched it too far. He did what he could, just hoping for a caution. Never got it. He's on pit road. At least he didn't have to worry about locking the tires up. Fuel only. Not going to repair any damage. Try to get this thing back out there as soon as possible. I'm not too upset with myself there. I was willing to go as long as I could open for a caution. It may cost Dale Jr. a couple spots. He's going to try to get back on the track as soon as he can. He's in 35th. Still cycled out 2 spots ahead of where he was originally running. If he would have taken tires, he might have even fell outside of 37th. Jimmy Johnson's been passed for second by Jeff Gordon as well. Junior back to being 2 laps down. Large pack of cars. All right there. Just 18 laps to go. I think Carl Edwards is the next car in line behind Dale Jr. Edwards looking to make a pass on the 29 of Kevin Harvick. It is Edwards down low. He's getting Junior aero loose in the middle of the front stretch. Well, time to block Edwards, him being the points leader. Junior got loose. Caught it. Edwards underneath him. He's going to run the 99 car down the track. Oh no, he turns himself in front of the field. Edwards is up and over. Almost. He came back down. Caution's out late. Not the one we needed necessarily. That was just a dumb move. Just trying to stay in front of Edwards, hold up the points leader in a dire situation, and he just wrecked himself. Luckily, it wasn't hard impact into the wall or another car by Junior, although he got pinballed around by 3 Rush Fenway Fords of Edwards, Biffle, and Martin. Well, that might have costed Edwards a couple positions, I guess. Junior into the pits. Caution number 5. Well, it did come out. We'll keep our trends alive. Oh, jeez. Well, that one's another that can't drop 55. That was on me. It would have been more deserved if that was Tony Stewart, considering he was the one that put us in this situation in this race. Unfortunately, that cost Dale Jr. a couple spots. There's so many cars multiple laps down in front of him. Junior's going to restart at 40th now. That cost him 3 positions. That's 9 points he just lost. Trying to desperately cost Edwards spots. Although simultaneously, Junior lost a few positions, Carl Edwards did also. Cars in line behind Dale Jr. were not on the same lap as him. Jeff Gordon to the lead on the restart. They're 4 wide off the exit of turn 4. Oh, they're wrecking. They're stacking up. Junior's got a shot to get some more positions. Down in the grass, and he's up to 35th. He's actually gained a couple spots from where he was before the caution came out. 4 wide, there was contact. Cars got together. Dale Jr. up to 35th. Johnson battling Gordon at the front of the field for the lead. Jr. needs to hang on now. I don't know that he's going to be able to do it. They're 3 wide again off turn 4 up towards the front. Jeremy Mayfield's going to get by. That was not for a spot. Michael Waltrip trying to get by. I'm not sure if he is for position or not. Junior just got arrow loose from Waltrip. He's in the wall. He's stuck to it. He can't get off of it. Turns down the racetrack. Truex just ran into the side of him now. Jeez Louise. Junior keeps... Oh, jeez. Yeah, save it. Nope. Big hit. Junior, major damage again. Still in it. Not the only one. He was on the apron all the way through the corner. I got arrow loose with the 44 car of Terry Labonte behind me. And when I got arrow loose, that's what turned me to the apron in the first place. It wasn't me overdriving the corner, putting it on the apron. Oh my goodness, wild ride for Kyle Petty. He almost went upside down. Junior's still in this thing somehow. His left rear tire's flat, so I guess he will have to pit for tires this time. 6 cautions. I don't know how, but he's still in the race. Not taking fuel, but it'll be 4 tires for Dale Jr. because he does have a flat left rear. Cautions breeding cautions late. I mean, what's the difference now? We DNF, we lose 5 positions, so I mean, might as well just go for broke at this point. At least this way the tires will add a little more grip. Maybe they'll be 4 wide further towards the front of the field this time, and maybe they'll all stack up and get more than just back to 35th. I don't know how many cars are 2 laps down. I mean, that might be it for cars that are 2 laps down. 35th could be about as high as we can finish at this point. Not a caution the front runners wanted to see these last 2. Kurt Busch, he had a massive lead over Johnson and Gordon before the 5th yellow. Now we've had a couple of them. This one actually gets him back into it a little more as the green flag is back in the air again. Will this be the final restart? We'll see. 145 in the wall. Turns 1 and 2. 75 underneath. Makes a pass, but not for position. I'm not aggressive enough. Oh my goodness. Oh, debris everywhere. My golly. So, debris high, debris low. There was nowhere to go there. Multiple drivers shedded debris simultaneously. It looked like both Kyle Petty and Scott Wimmer's hoods came off, and Junior actually clipped one of the pieces of debris, but I'm not sure which one. Might as well pit. Tear this thing even more. Cautions breeding cautions late at Atlanta. This could be the final restart this time. We've had 7 cautions total. 3. Well, first we had 4 in the first 71 laps, and we didn't have another one until after lap 300. And now we've had 3 of them in the final 20 laps of the race. 5th out of 7 chase races where we've seen a lot of late yellows. No, no, this has not been my race. It would have been fitting if I would have blown a tire hitting that piece of debris and just smashing into the wall, and that would have ended my day. The way this thing's going, I don't even know how we haven't DNF so far. At least we were able to finish 40th at the very worst out of it. Another caution could potentially end the race now. This may be the final chance at a restart. 3 laps to go. Green flag back in the air as Junior spins his tires. Hasn't taken off well with all the damage on his car anyway. He's flipped twice. Really had no chance from the start after Tony Stewart wrecked him. Made a bad block back on lap 7. And Dale Jr. ended up, as a result, flipping. Lap down multiple times. Now he's 2 laps down. Oh, well, never mind. That was a green-white checker. 2 laps to go on that last restart with Junior being 2 laps down. Wasn't really thinking about it. So this is the final lap. No cautions on the final lap. Jimmy Johnson leads. He's back out in front again, surviving the late race restarts. First one gave him a shot that had to survive the next 2 after the fact. And as the field works their way off turn 4 this time, Jeff Gordon has just taken the lead from Johnson at the finish, and Jeff Gordon is going to steal the win with a last lap pass for the win in Atlanta. My goodness. The 48 who led almost all race gets passed on the final lap by not 1 but 2 cars. Carl Edwards ends up second. That's probably going to take us out of the title now. Unfortunately, Carl Edwards finished in second place. He didn't lead a lap. Neither did Junior, and he finished 40th. Jeff Gordon with the win. Another one of those Atlanta finishes, I guess. Final corner. It wasn't side by side. Margin of victory was just over 1/10 of a second. Oh, jeez. Gordon ends up winning it. "16 laps led." He didn't really lead a lap since like the very beginning of the race. Up until that last lap. When he led just 16 and Edwards just snuck in there at the second place finish at the end of the night despite getting caught up in a wreck late. Lucas Salisbury, thanks for tuning into the stream. Fortunately you missed it, but didn't really miss much. I mean, there was action throughout, but unfortunately for Dale Jr., not on the right side of it. It was all for the wrong reasons for ourselves today. I mean, we never had a chance. I mean, it was just... There was no chance tonight. literally, sometimes, you know, I'll put it on myself. This wasn't my fault. I mean, I didn't do anything wrong. We flipped on lap 6 because of a bad block from Tony Stewart off a restart following a lap 1 crash that was like way behind us in the pack. We stacked everybody up again. Stewart threw a block. I got sideways after the block and ended up kind of overcorrecting it in the middle of the corner and ended upside down. Had to make an unscheduled stop, went a lap down, and from then on we were off strategy the rest of the race. Tried to get back on the lead lap at the very least, and it just never came to fruition. And then we ended up 2 laps down there at the end because we were so slow, so we ended up losing another lap over an over 200 lap green flag run because we were slow from flipping once. We actually ended up flipping again because of another similar incident with Jeff Burton. Edwards, yeah, second. Jimmy Johnson led 232 laps today, ends up finishing 3rd. Qualified on the pole, led 232 out of 325, still didn't win. Kurt Busch led 42 laps, finished 4th. Looked like he was going to win there if it would have stayed green to the end, but at first caution, late in the race at least, which was the 5th total in the race, ended up stacking him back up again. Busch had probably at least a 5-second lead, and ended up losing it on the restart. Never got back to the lead on the last couple restarts after that. Kevin Harvick led 35 laps, rounded out the top 5. Highest running non-chaser. Bobby Labonte, quiet but solid night, finished 6th. He was top 10 pretty much all day. Tony Stewart, he flipped us early, finished 7th, of course. Greg Biffle, 8th. Mike Bliss, 9th with another top 10. Matt Kenseth rounds out the top 10. That is unbelievable. The only chaser that did not finish in the top 10 tonight was Dale Jr. finishing 40th. All the other 9 chase drivers finished in the top 10. Like, that's literally the worst thing that could have happened. Oh my gosh. Michael Waltrip, 13th. Decent night, considering he was outside the top 20 in points. Truex, 18th. Not bad for the rookie. All in the lead lap. 19 cars finished on the lead lap today. Elliott Sadler, Scott Riggs, and Daryl Sykes. Actually, Sykes finished 41st. He was a lap behind us. So only Scott Riggs and Elliott Sadler DNF, which is actually surprising, considering we had a few flips today. And the fact that Ricky Rudd flipped, he still finished way in front of us. That's kind of ridiculous, too. Where did he finish? He finished 22nd, 1 lap down. I mean, we still had decent speed, but we had decent speed considering we wrecked. I mean, on our own, we didn't have any speed at all. Saw there in those last couple restarts, I couldn't get going. We'll check out the point standings. We'll see what the damage is. We're probably over a full race worth of points out of first now. We're not mathematically out of it, but you can about stick a fork in us. Got another 500-mile, another 500-mile race at a 1.5-mile racetrack at Texas for the Dickies 500 next. And we'll see. Yeah, just not our kind of night. I mean, this is just... It just stinks. The whole season comes down to that. Carl Edwards obviously still has the points lead, finishing 2nd today. Jeff Gordon, who won the race, does close the gap because he was tied for 2nd with Earnhardt coming in. He gains 15 points with Edwards not leading the lap as well. Gordon didn't lead the most, but led enough. And it's only 60 out of first. Still a tight points battle. I mean, look at the top 4 within 102 points still. I mean, they all finished in the top 5. They literally all finished 1 through 4. Like, what are we supposed to do? Even if we would have finished up there, like, we wouldn't have really gained many points on them. We would have pretty much stayed stagnated. It would have been better than what happened, obviously, so there's that. 3rd win of the year, though, for Gordon. 1st win of the chase for Jeff. Matt Kenseth, 5th in points now. Dale Jr. 7th, 202 out of first. He can get up to 5th, and then he's going to have to hope for the best to catch. He's 100 behind Jimmy Johnson. If Johnson has decently bad finishes along with Kurt Busch, those two don't have to DNF. I have to go lights. I have to win these last 3 races. I have to win. I have to lead the most laps in these last 3 races if I'm going to want to have any sort of shot to win the championship. We're going to need Carl Edwards to DNF, potentially Jeff Gordon and Busch and Johnson to DNF as well. That's asking for a lot, but you never know. You never know. Time to turn into dad. Oh, jeez. Extra mustard on the hot dog. I mean, the fact that the top 8 are within 214 points, I mean, mathematically going into these final 10 races, even Biffle mathematically still has, or final 3 races, he still has a shot. I mean, he's probably not going to win, but I mean, you can pretty much stick a fork in at least Labonte and Biffle. You can about stick a fork in us. As long as we go into Homestead with a chance, we'll keep running the rest of this season. We have to be within 156 points of Edwards, which honestly, if we just win the next 2 races, as long as Edwards finishes at least 4th or worse in the next 2, on top of us winning and leading the most laps in the next 2, we'll at least have a chance going into Homestead in case Edwards blows an engine. So, I mean, I think we could at least have a chance going into Homestead at the very least. We can definitely get a top 5 points finish. It's not going to be what we would have set out to do, obviously. This is tough. I mean, I haven't lost a championship in a NASCAR video game on the channel in a long time. You have to go back to NASCAR Thunder 04. Both of the seasons we had there. We won all 8 of them. We tried in NASCAR 05 across all 4 series in that game. You know, NASCAR... Well, I guess NASCAR 21 Ignition, I didn't win a championship yet. I'll be going for one. I'm in the championship 4 of my final race there. Well, that's going to do it. Thanks for everybody watching tonight, sticking it out. Greatly appreciate it. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll go Truck Series racing at Atlanta again. At least we can try to get redemption at this track. As long as we don't get turned early in the race, I'm sure we'll have a fast enough truck to compete for the win. And we'll see if we can get the... Don't forget, I mean, the Busch Series, Truck Series titles, those are still very much up for grabs with 4 races to go there. We'll see if we can get into it. And... Again, see you guys tomorrow night at 7, everybody.